Hello, everyone. How are you guys? It's the last day of this 14-day Congress at the Birb Nest, and I cannot be more excited because we have a very interesting live stream, and later on, we are going to have another live stream with the entire Birb Nest team, and we are going to have a big surprise for you. Along with me, I have Libs42 and Jimmy. Hey, guys.
Hi.
What's up? What's up?
All good?
Right. Yeah, man. I'm all good. It's gonna be an very exciting stream here. I mean, DeFi. Future of finance, important stuff, very interesting stuff. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting stream to talk about the opportunities that that are available in the world of DeFi.
Exactly that. So after this clip, we'll be right back introducing you to our special guest. Perfect. So we are back, and at this stage, I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Davin. Hey, Davin.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. So Davin is the COO of YFDAI, and YFDAI, in my opinion, is one of the most complete DeFi projects out there. So we are going to talk about the opportunities that this space DeFi offers to people. We are going to talk about passive income opportunities, and we are going to talk about some interesting projects coming up. But before that, would you like, Davin, to give us a small introduction to yourself, how you started with crypto, and when you started YFDAI, etc.
Sure.
So I will...
Yeah, no problem at all. Just a really quick background. I probably got into crypto the same way everybody got into crypto, by missing out on buying Bitcoin when it was really cheap, right?
Oh, I thought you would say, like everyone that lost their money back in 2018.
Oh yeah, that too, right? I'm continually learning lessons. Yeah. So back in would have been 2014, 2015, I was running a marketing agency, and one of our clients came up to us and said, "Can you build me a website?" And we said, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem." He said, "Do you mind if I pay in Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "You paying what now?" And he said, I'll give you, and I'm not going to tell you how much, but he was going to give us some Bitcoin, and this I still lose sleep over today, but he was going to give us some Bitcoin to build a website. I talked to my business partners about it at the time, and they said, "No, look, we'll take the cash." And I thought about it, and so I kind of kept track of Bitcoin at that point. I looked at sort of setting up a wallet and how complex it all was, and kind of dove into that. And then obviously Ethereum came along, and that was incredibly interesting with smart contracts. And I kind of forgot about it for a few years. And then in 2016, everything started getting exciting again, and Ethereum was starting to see adoption. And I looked at the Bitcoin price, and I had a heart attack. I was like, did we take that money? And I mentally convinced myself that in the back of my mind, there was a paper wallet somewhere sitting with a ton of Bitcoin in it that was, I mean, the reality is I would have used it to buy pizza as well, right? There's no way that I would have held on to it. But so that effectively got me hooked, and I spent probably the better part of 2016 researching and kind of trying to understand the space. Got into it again in 2017 properly. Had the wins and the losses that everybody had around that time. Learned some very valuable lessons, and was just kind of really excited by the evolution in the space. And I think DeFi filled a really nice gap in that, because obviously, Bitcoin as a store of value is one thing, but being able to transact in crypto and being able to use it in kind of everyday interactions in life and things like that needed things like stable coins to happen. It's basically, you're watching this incredibly compact evolution of not just finance, but just this whole exciting paradigm happen in such a short space of time, which is, I mean, how can you not be excited by that? I was lucky enough to be around in the .com boom, and shared that same kind of excitement around the internet, right? We were part of a music platform back in the 90s that launched MP3 in Australia.
Napster, with Napster.
Yeah. And everybody was getting sued by Metallica, and the whole thing was a problem. But it was an incredibly exciting time, and from that we see the internet that we have today, right? We see this evolution of web and the web spaces, etc. It's a very, very similar trajectory and journey with crypto and DeFi in particular, right? So that's my background basically. I've been with Wi-Fi for about 12 months now, and it's been an incredibly exciting journey so far.
Almost since the beginning, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Almost. Okay. Let me start with this question then. Do we need DeFi? Do we need decentralized finance in your opinion? And if so, why do you think that is?
I mean, that's a good question. The reality is we don't, right? We don't need DeFi. If we didn't need money, the world would be a really different place. I would be trading you a sheep for a goat, or you would have to carry your kind of, whatever you produce to a market or somewhere to exchange that directly for whatever it was that you want. Or we could just all kind of give each other, on trust. We could kind of exist and hope that we could all sustain each other's lives in a utopian kind of way. And I mean, I'm not predicting the future, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not sure that capitalism and this kind of idea of an economy in terms of a way of exchanging goods and services is ever going to go away. But I mean, if it does go away, then amazing, right? We don't need DeFi at all. We can start thinking about other things. But if we're going to continue to need a way to store value, transport value, exchange value for goods, services, products, etc., then we need a far more efficient way of doing that. And I mean, DeFi is not new, right? I mean, yes, it is. DeFi and crypto is new. DeFi, the concept is new, but DeFi is just an evolution. And I know we were talking about revolution or evolution, but if you look at banking, 150 years ago, a bank was a building with a really, really secure room in it. And that was it, right? You were paying to put your money in a bank vault, in a secure vault somewhere, and that was where it sat. Now, if anyone came along and tried to rob that bank or steal your money, that was your money gone. Insurance wasn't going to cover that. In many cases, banks went broke, and if you needed your money, it doesn't matter if you're in a different city. You can't walk into an ATM, right? You have to go back to the bank where your money is stored, and you have to get your money out from that bank. Now, banking obviously saw this as a problem, and we had kind of an evolution in telecommunications. We had obviously the telegraph and all of that sort of stuff, which then allowed people to money wire, and you could take things from one bank to another bank. Then all of a sudden, money became portable, and you had this situation where the convenience. So first you had security, and that's banking, right? Security, and then you have convenience, which is money being able to be transferred from a bank to another location. So you can wire it to your friends, or you can go somewhere and exchange or access your money from a remote location. And that kind of took place over a long period of time. And then you had this kind of evolution of digital banking, or what is not really digital banking, but it's being able to use multiple locations to access your money, and things like credit cards and all of these things have been kind of tools that have evolved out of financial services. And it's been because of a need, right? The world's getting smaller. You need to access your money. The internet's played a big part in that. You want to buy things online. You want to do that. So money is it's about security, and it's about portability, and it's about convenience, and it's also becoming about speed, right? But what it really hasn't ever been about, unfortunately, is about trust. And that's where DeFi comes in. And it's not just about trust, having trust and trustless sort of, environments, but it's about being able to control your destiny in a way that's not affected by a third party. So whereas previously, if you wanted to use a banking service and you wanted to borrow money for a house, or you wanted to get a mortgage, do whatever it was, you have to accept you can shop around, you can accept their interest rates, you can accept, whatever it is, but that's the process that you have to go through. What we're seeing with this evolution in blockchain, in cryptocurrency, in DeFi is the very real possibility that people can be their own banks. You can literally take your financial security, And you can manage that in a way, hopefully responsibly, that will allow you to better benefit your lifestyle in whatever way that whatever way that makes sense.
And I think you have a very good point here. Actually, you give me trying to make people be their own banks requires from those people to get out from a comfort zone, right? Because they have banks right now. They are relying on this safety, and they say, okay, I have the bank, they do everything for me. But then they listen about, they hear about the opportunities in DeFi, and they say, okay, how am I going to understand this? I don't understand it. And they don't take the leap of faith, let's say. They don't go into educating themselves. So, and it's a crazy world we live in, because, for example, you put your money into the safety, right, into a bank, you get, I don't know how much, right, 0.5%
not very much. Yeah.
per year. In Switzerland, people pay for this security. They have negative
That's
interests, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So at the same time, you have a credit card where you borrow money. Actually, you borrow your money, and you pay 19% interest. So you understand the
there's a massive disparity. It is, you're right. I mean, if you want to talk about that though, there are barriers to entry. So this is, it's slightly controversial, but it starts with education, and education is something that's hugely important, right? There are barriers to entry in crypto, but there are also barriers to entry in traditional financial markets and financial services. And this is something I personally think is a massive educational problem. It's a problem in schools. It's a problem across the world.
Exactly.
Understanding maths, understanding English or languages. Sorry, I say English, but understanding the core components of things that you're going to need in your life is a life tool. And they don't traditionally teach finance or financial management, and they don't teach opportunities like that. Not in junior school, not in high school, very rarely in colleges.
That is intentional, in my opinion. But hey.
I mean, there's zero financial education at the ground level, school education, like zero. Like I quickly want to touch about the fact here that we talked about, how you can be your own bank, right? And without that education, like I think a lot of people are. We are obviously excited to be our own bank because we're in this, because we know the potential revolution of this. Like, we've been in crypto for a while. You said you've been interested in crypto for quite a long time, and obviously we understand the dangers, but the freedom that you get from that is definitely worth all the dangers. But then if you look at ordinary people, I think a lot of people are afraid to manage their own money because of the lack of the education. Like, there's no education at all on that. So they don't know how they're going to be managing their own portfolios, their money, and it is dangerous. So how can we make that easier for ordinary people to use a service where there's such a
I mean, you're right. It's scary, and money is scary to a lot of people. It represents your lifestyle. It represents your livelihood. It represents your security, the roof above your head, your kids, your family, the education of, all of this is tied up in money. And for people to risk that, I mean, it's a very, very challenging thing, right? And so what they do is they fall back into this. I trust banks, not because I trust them, but because everybody else does, right? It's the thing that you do, right? It's too complex, it's too difficult. And that's the reason, unfortunately, because there are some great financial opportunities available to people in the real world. So when I say real world, I mean outside of crypto, right? Traditional finance, those sorts of things. And while there are barriers there, right? You're not always going to be a sophisticated investor that's going to get access to an IPO, right? I definitely wasn't one of the first people invited to invest in Facebook, right? Those opportunities just don't happen to regular mum and dads, retail investors. But there are really good financial products that are available, but you have to work very hard for them. And you have to educate yourself in the real world. Whereas In crypto, yes, there's still barriers to entry, and that is a huge problem, right? Getting over this fear of, am I going to risk this? Am I going to lose this? Is that going to be safe and secure? And how am I going to get involved? In the real world, you have this kind of fallback position of, well, the bank will take care of that, or at least it's insured if anything happens, or if I get scammed and all of that. What we're trying to do, what YFDI is particularly trying to do, is create a best practice, or create a benchmark for what DeFi could be, for what DeFi should be, in terms of safety, in terms of security, in terms of ease of use, in terms of onboarding. And now we're not the only ones out there, right? Everybody recognizes that in order for crypto to get adopted, in order for it to become more than just a kind of, a Dogecoin or a meme currency that people are going to pick up as a, kind of Elon Musk's latest tweet, it has to get beyond a certain point of trust. Right, there has to be, we accept that there is regulation. I mean, there's local regulations, things happening now, and all of that is to protect the investors, or the individuals that are wanting to use these tools. Right, it shouldn't be to stifle innovation, because we've seen this space innovate so much in such a short space of time. The possibilities are mind blowing in terms of the incredible things that people are doing, and I would hate to see that sort of stifled by regulation. But at the same time, regulation is the security for people to think that they can then come in and do something, positive with their money. But taking all of that out of the equation, if we take a step back, for me, the barrier to entry for crypto, and DeFi in particular, is this trust, right? Where do you get the trust from? Now, the knowledge gap is something that we can overcome. We can educate people, and we're working on that. We're providing a lot of kind of explainers and tools, and we have great communities of people that, crypto people are some of the friendliest people there are, right? I mean, you feel nervous, walking into a chat room or a group. This is not like back in the 90s where you would just get absolutely slammed, or back in the early days of crypto when you're in the troll box on an exchange and it's just absolutely pumping. You've got some really, really helpful people, right? These are people that have learned, they've made mistakes, they understand how it works, and they're happy to share their knowledge. And that's part of what makes crypto a great community. YFDI's community is unbelievable. And big shout out to you guys if you're out there watching this. I think you're awesome. But we need to get better at providing that trust. And for DeFi to succeed, and for people to become their own banks, they have to trust that there are safety nets and things in place that are going to prevent them from making their own mistakes and being stupid. And we're all stupid. We've all bought the wrong thing. We've all done the wrong thing. We've all made bad decisions. But you don't want that to be a life-changing, something that's going to affect the rest of your life. And so, what we've done effectively, or what we're trying to do at YFDI, is add layers of diligence. So anyone that comes onto our platform, anyone that wants to invest in any of the projects that we launch, or anyone that wants to use any of our DeFi tools, so staking and farming, and we can get into all of that later on, they have a level of safety and security and understanding that's going to support them through that process. They can get their money in, they can take it out, they can do all of this without having to go into a bank, or without having to rely on a third party to authorize transactions and the rest of it. The choices are being placed back into the hands of the people, but they have to be able to trust the systems that are providing those choices. And that's hopefully what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I so much agree with you, Davin, about the trust and the fear issue. So me as a NLP coach who understands psychology, I do understand that trust comes in different layers. And when people truly understand what they can miss out, they will kind of deactivate these defense mechanism, and they will allow the concept of DeFi. That's my premise. So if I would ask, like, what would people miss out if they are not their own bank? And people are listening now, what would you say? What would you tell them?
Their money.
Yeah. Look, but it's more than money, though. It's the freedom to make choices in your lifestyle. We've seen COVID massively impact on people's lifestyles and how they live. We've seen the fear of losing jobs. We've seen remote work really take this huge kind of upswing in terms of, for the first time in the last 100 years that I'm aware of, it's been encouraged for people to get out of offices, to work remotely. And what that has brought back into a lot of people's lives, apart from this kind of horrible disease that's going around, is a sense of freedom and time and value. By being your own bank, we each have ways that we can contribute, whether it's through your career, whether it's through your life choices, through investments, through other things. How you choose to support yourself is completely up to you, right? There's nothing wrong with making a choice to work 9 to 5 for the rest of your life and retire, at 60 with a pension or whatever it is that you choose, right? Those are personal choices. But what DeFi gives you is the ability to manage those choices, and it gives you the ability to calculate your risk. There are people out there, and this is every 18-year-old that's ever gone into a job that gets kind of given that first, here's your contract, here's your paycheck, here's your pension benefit form or whatever it is. How would you like us to invest the money that we have to contribute into your pension? And as an 18-year-old, right, you're thinking, I don't even know what this is about. It's so far, 18-year-olds are never going to die, right? They're just like, that is so far in the future that I'm not even thinking about this. They're never going to retire. And so high risk is generally what they tick. They're like, every profile, you've got a risk profile in your investment structure for your pension. Would you like to choose the slow and steady growth, which sits at around 3 to 5%? Would you like to choose a slightly riskier mixed portfolio that sits between 5 and 10%? Or would you like to just throw all the bananas in a bag and go for this kind of outrageous risk profile at around sort of 20% or something like that? And almost every kid will tick that box, right? Because there's a disconnect between what they're doing now and the small salary that they're earning and what their requirements are going to be when they're 65 and what they're going to need. Whereas people that have experienced a little bit of life, have maybe touched on investments, have done other things with their finances, then start to become a bit more cautious in their risk profile, right? They start to think, oh, Jesus, right? I've got a mortgage, I've got kids, I've got all these other things to think about. I'm going to dial back my risk profile. But at the same time, I'm not happy with earning 0.01% of, fixed income from a bank account. What are my options? What can I do? And in certain sort of situations of traditional finance, there are tools that you can use to get a slight advantage in kind of long-term savings and stuff. But what DeFi does is it puts all of those options in front of you and says, here you go, right? If you want to earn more yield, you can stake, and you can do that in a number of different ways. There are tools that allow you to literally take your investment in a token or in a project, place it in a pool, and earn rewards based on either fees generated by that product or project that then get shared out with that pool. And ultimately the APR on that, which is the annual percentage return, is significantly higher than anyone could possibly achieve, in a traditional financial market. And that makes it really attractive. Now, if you want to add risk to that, you could look at liquidity farming. You could look at being able to support a DEX, right? A decentralized exchange. And I don't want to confuse people. If there's people listening that don't have a lot of crypto knowledge, you're going to hear a lot of terms and things that, they may or may not make sense to you, but ultimately, these things are things that you need to learn about and you need to understand. So, you'll hear people talking about farming, you'll hear them talking about staking, you'll hear them talking about DEXs or decentralized exchanges versus centralized exchanges. If you want to learn more about that, jump in YFDI's community and we'll teach you, or the Birb Nest guys. I mean, you guys are great at teaching and educating people around,
Yeah, indeed. That's what
get a base level of knowledge, and if you get a base level of knowledge, these things will seem less scary. But
that's the mission, because actually, if you think of it, yes, indeed, DeFi gives you the options out there. But the thing is, we had this pandemic, lots of people lost their jobs, but now it's the next step. It's the inflation, which devaluates your money. So crypto DeFi is the only way actually to make money and not to see your portfolio going down or lose the it's the capacity that it had like 2 years ago. And at this stage, because we have we have talked about DeFi, tell us a bit why DAI. What is it exactly, right? Well, actually, the right question, because you have a lot of products. What is it not? But yeah, it would be great. It would be great to give us, an overview, and maybe maybe a screen share and people understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
about...
if you guys don't mind, I'll happily give you a walkthrough. So I tell you what, yeah, that's perfect. So this is YFDI. This is our website. And again, just as a,
I think
I think you get muted.
Davin,
you're muted, so you have to press the microphone at the bottom to the left.
We cannot hear you.
All right, so you've been muted for a minute or so since we started the screen share.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yep.
My mic's dropped out.
Okay.
No, I can hear you.
Now we can hear you. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you were talking from your earbuds, and it died.
Can you hear us?
Probably not, because he's switching.
Apologies, guys.
Don't worry. Can you hear us now?
All right, so I'm gonna. We have a little private chat, so I'm gonna write to him that we can hear him, so he.
Yeah.
Might be able to.
Meanwhile, guys.
We lost you. We lost you at the best. At the best. The worst timing, actually, because you were talking about YFDI.
Oh yeah, look, I apologize. I think my headset's. I've spent too much time on conference calls, and I think they're running out of batteries. But if you can't hear me, or if I do drop out, then just start waving frantically at the screen, and I'll stop talking.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Don't worry.
Perfect. So yeah, YFDI. We are effectively a platform where we are trying to build a decentralized ecosystem of DeFi products. We want to give people who are new and who experience crypto a safe and trusted environment within which they can enjoy or interact with DeFi products and tools. And if you look at it in terms of a linear progression, we've created a dashboard which I'll show you guys. But it gives people an entry point to either investing in or supporting crypto projects as they're incubating and as they're launching. We provide an incubator service and a Launchpad service to take new and exciting crypto projects from concepts through to development iteration. We even get some great projects. In fact, I'll talk to you about Creek Trust as a project that we're launching at the moment, who are have an established product. They have some great partnerships in place already, and they are about to launch some fairly cool patent pending super NFT technology, which is really exciting. But I'll jump into the dashboard, and hopefully you guys can see this. This is our Launchpad dashboard at the moment. You can see on the right here, on the left, we've got a range of different DeFi dApps or tools, and I can just walk you through them. But effectively, here is where you would go if you wanted to look at getting an early entry into an IDO, or initial DEX offering, or a Launchpad offering.
So right now, this is your main dashboard. Not that you have a secondary, but this is like everything in one place, right? It's like your precious vault with all the tools that you need. Is it farming or Okay.
It's Web3, so you can connect your wallet. I'm already connected here, but obviously grab your MetaMask, connect it up, and you can switch between the Polygon network or the Ethereum network. We're on Polygon, which is obviously a layer 2 solution. For those who aren't aware, that's basically a sidechain of Ethereum and significantly lower fees than you would experience on Ethereum. So it makes it, again, more attractive to people who are wanting to invest, swap funds, swap tokens, do things like that without incurring huge costs and Ethereum gas fees. Look, I'm sure that's a problem that Ethereum are going to resolve, but in the short term, we're looking at cross-chain. We're looking at other opportunities on other chains as well to be able to bring these services to users of those platforms as well. And so again, here, obviously you can see the active Launchpad projects. If you wanted to support Quick Trust, you could jump in there and read a little bit about the platform. It's an e-validation and super NFT creator. It's pretty exciting. We've obviously got the whitelisting details, links to the website, information about the raise, etc. This is the sort of stuff that you need to do your research on, obviously, before you choose to support a project. We've just recently upgraded our governance token, which was SSGT, to SSGTX. That's also a reward token that we provide for farmers, which, I mean, we've got some great liquidity providing and farming opportunities for people that want to come and support SafeSwap, which is our DEX, our decentralized exchange, which is effectively a peer-to-peer swap or an AMM platform for automatic market making. And so we are swapping the old governance token, SSGT, to SSGTX at a rate of 2-to-1, which is pretty exciting for people. SafeTrade, which is our automated trading bot, is just going through some upgrades and testing at the moment, and we're hoping to have some news about that. So anyone that wants to, or anyone that finds crypto trading a little bit too complicated, or they don't have the requisite market knowledge, they don't, they like the idea of trading, but they don't feel like they can be trusted to make the right choices. We have an algorithmic trading bot solution that we are currently testing that's doing quite well, that allows people to just basically stake an amount or invest an amount, and the bot does the trading for you.
Do we have any estimations on when this will be released?
Yeah, absolutely. It is tracking very, very well. So the commitment that we have with the bot is that we have to give a minimum of 1 month of consistent trading track record and history before we can actually deploy it. What we don't want is to put something out into the market that people are then going to say, hang on a second, it's missing these key buy signals or sell signals or indicators, and it's not a safe bot. It's a risky bot. So at the moment, it's going through its final round of testing, and we're hoping in early December that we will be able to release that to everybody. So it's a matter of a week, 10 days. Hopefully we'll have some news on that.
And can you also, in using SafeTrade, can you also determine the risk that you want? And if so, what is the, let's say, if I can ask, right? If
sure, yeah, go for
you
it.
can reveal, what is the average return that someone should expect from SafeTrade?
These are all excellent questions. It's not a high risk trading platform. It's effectively designed to appeal to people who would like to see a steady trajectory, but would also like to potentially see where these market trades are happening, and start to potentially use the bot as a tool to educate themselves around what to look for in terms of indicators, in terms of price action and things like that. So we're not expecting people who trade with SafeTrade to generate massive returns. We are expecting to see a safe, steady trajectory of incremental increase in sort of their investment. I can't give you any numbers, unfortunately.
That sounds really good. I mean, that I'm definitely interested in that, and I could probably talk a very long time about just that. But I mean, safe and consistent profit is what we want, right? So if you can set up something like that, and will this be like, I guess we will have to see in a week exactly what this will be. But is there any specific markets you're trading with that, or is there a large sample size of markets?
Pardon me. We are working with a partner to deliver this, and we will be announcing the partnership when the bot goes live. It is on the Binance Smart Chain, and the partner that we're talking about is they're an exchange partner, or they're a partner of Binance. So it gives us access to effectively a highly liquid market, and it gives us access to some very, very cool kind of tools and other things that go with it. The bot's something that we've designed ourselves. It's being deployed through their platform, and there's going to be some great opportunities for YFDI stakers and farmers and people that are supporting YFDI on our side to gain access to that. And yeah, it's going to be widely available. It's yeah, hopefully going to be very exciting. We're really looking forward to it.
Well,
Definitely, me too.
yeah, you made us really curious, Davin. Really curious.
Excellent. Look, I'm glad, and yeah, jump in our Telegram chat or follow us on Twitter, and we'll make sure that you get the updates first.
By the way, guys, we are about 30 minutes into the stream, and I would like to say that we have a giveaway going on. All right.
Oh my
so
God.
Yeah, we have. And what is the giveaway? Because excuse me, but I didn't forget, but I have it right here. It is.
That's a good way.
Shame on
Yeah,
you.
I didn't forget. I just have to look it up. It's 1 month subscription to exclusive Nest Club. So basically, it's a 1 month free access to what you guys have been getting here for 14 days. We're going to be continuing with the same stuff. We're going to have daily webinars, daily workshops, daily education for traders, and you have free access. So use the link in the description below, and use the code that you see right now.
Free access to the Birb Nest means free money because you have to pay to be a member, and free knowledge, which we know it's knowledge worth more than money, right? Oh, and there you go.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be here right
you
now.
have a visitor. There you go.
He's curious about why I died.
He's like, did I hear DeFi?
Here's why I die in DeFi. Yeah. So
all
guys,
right.
I always say the return on education is really high at the Birb Nest. So Davin, I was actually curious, and when you were talking about missing out opportunities, I was actually thinking about staking and indeed also farming. For people who don't know what staking is, it's actually securing the network, and as compensation, you get some returns back. So the other day I was sitting in the car and I was thinking about my cousin, and he lives actually at the other side of the world. So I live in the Netherlands. He lives somewhere else, and I was kind of a little bit in a shame, but I was thinking, like, I am making more money while he's working harder than me, hours based, and just by staking alone on a monthly basis. Monthly basis, I earn I think I earn in total 10 times more than he does on a monthly basis. And obviously he is he's not that familiar with DeFi and crypto and all of that. Well, the fact is actually it's even discouraged in the country where he's living. So he's like, by default, he's missing out, which is a big shame. But there are still a lot of other people, they can have access to these tools, to these powerful tools like farming and staking.
Absolutely, and this is part of what's exciting about this kind of evolution or this growth of DeFi. And DeFi, don't get me wrong, DeFi is not, it's not going to stop evolving. I mean, we're seeing some amazing innovations in the bond space at the moment, where there are projects coming out like Ohm and the various forks there that are providing, again, this kind of layer of sophistication to what is possible within the DeFi space. And there's a lot of knowledge, and again, kind of wanting to lower those barriers to entry. There's a lot of fear of the unknown. People, when they, the first time I ever staked anything, I immediately had concerns, right? It's like every day in crypto when you're learning is a hurdle. And you think, okay, I have to set up a wallet. Right, now what is that going to look like? How am I going to do that? And then you think, okay, so MetaMask, outside of that, how does that look? Now I've got a wallet on my browser. And then you're talking about Web3 stuff. And then you're talking about staking and farming. Interacting with these things becomes more familiar, but this is why I love what you guys do, and this is why I love all of the people that are genuinely trying to help and educate people around removing that fear of staking and farming, and removing that fear of engaging with these DeFi products. it is right to have a level of fear and skepticism in anything that you do, especially with money. But you shouldn't be afraid of, especially using tools like this on YFDI. But obviously, anything that you're engaging with, any kind of financial product or anything that you're engaging with, needs to be understood. You need to know what you're doing. With YFDI, if you wanted to stake, for example, we offer 72% fixed APY. It's really, really straightforward. I mean, our interface is really straightforward. What we mean by staking effectively, Jimmy, as you referred to there, is literally taking an investment, in this case in YFDI or SFGTX, and depositing that with us to earn rewards from the network. Effectively, we are rewarding you for keeping that locked up and supporting the liquidity or supporting the platform. And that reward is then generated by use of the fees and services and other things on the platform. In some cases, it's a fixed reward. The exciting thing about DeFi is that as it's evolving, more platform usage, more use of tokens to engage with fees and services and things like that mean that those rewards will continually increase. And there are some incredible opportunities for people to, as you said, earn phenomenal amounts just by having effectively a bank account. This is effectively a bank account. If you were to do this in the real world over the same period of time, you wouldn't even notice that the number had changed. And yet in crypto, these kind of life-changing amounts, it's easy to become a little bit blasé about the fact that you're seeing these big numbers. But eventually, as we get mass adoption and as we see some of these ideas normalize, like staking and farming, I think this is always going to be something that will be a pillar of DeFi. You will see those numbers rationalize, because they will get to a point where there's a fixed amount of kind of liquidity within the market. New opportunities come, people move that liquidity around. It's effectively a global economy, and you are not going to be able to sustain without innovation these kind of high APYs and things like that. The returns will come in other areas. But while this is possible, and while we are attracting people into our ecosystems, and while we are providing these incentives, you would have to be crazy not to see that and think, wow, right? I mean, this is not staking a token is not the same as risking an investment or buying something via an exchange that you may or may not perform according to market demands. This is, you place your tokens here and you will return this, like that. It's that simple. And as a baseline for DeFi, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's so true. So the APY YFDI is providing is a fixed APY, right? So
that's correct.
The problem I sometimes come across is that I see a really nice APY, let's say 150 or 200%, and then every hour, even every day, it drops down. It gets lower and lower and lower.
I know.
So how does it work? Why? Yeah,
it's about volume, right? So again, this is not something that we can sustain long term without earning more fees to basically cover the rewards. APY, by the way, I should say, there's a difference between APY and APR. APR is return, so it's non-compounding, and this technically is non-compounding. However, there is nothing preventing you from harvesting your rewards and reinvesting them. So the opportunity there, I mean, we don't do it for you. It's not automatic. You can choose to harvest them. You can choose to reinvest them. It all happens here. So technically it is APY, but it's not really. So, I think I'm going to change this to APR, or I'm going to get the team to change it to APR, because it does depend on you reinvesting that amount to hit that number. But it is definitely a 72% APR.
Yeah, then like manually, it's still the same, obviously. And because it's running on Polygon, I mean, the transaction fees are really low, right? It's zero something.
Negligible. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's not something you should consider even about. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really nice.
And obviously, we exist on the Ethereum network as well. And if I was to switch my wallet over, you would see the YFI staking. And we're hoping to provide that kind of balance in between, all of the ecosystems that we evolve in. It's a case of with any business, you grow, you expand, you contract, you grow, you expand, and that's what we're having to do right now. With the DEX, which again, I just wanted to show you if you guys have got a sec.
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty much a platform that most people are familiar with in terms of what Uniswap offers, what you'd see on a Pancake Swap, or anyone that's used a decentralized exchange before. You would be familiar with this kind of a interface or platform. In terms of our DEX and the difference between what SafeSwap does and a Uniswap, for example, is we provide a governance or an oversight that prevents people from listing any projects on our DEX. So whereas with Uniswap, you can basically go and create a contract, you can go and upload a coin, you can provide liquidity for that. You can certain people will be familiar with the rug pull, which is effectively where somebody creates a token, gets a lot of interest, there's high liquidity, a lot of people buy in, they buy the token, and that person pulls the liquidity. Now, that leaves effectively a lot of people holding a token that has no method of exchange, and this third party or bad actor has now made off with the liquidity pool, which happened a lot in kind of 2020, especially with the kind of rise of Uniswap. Early 2021, we saw rug pulls kind of happening left, right, and center. That's just, I mean, scammers are going to scam, right? You can't stop people from looking for ways to cheat the system. But what we're trying to do again at YFI is make it more difficult, provide trustworthy systems and tools for people to use DeFi. So SafeSwap, if there's a token listed on SafeSwap, if you go and check out our analytics, you'll basically see every token, every pair, everything that you see listed on here has been vetted, is approved, liquidity is locked. There's going to be no issues with people being able to trade in and trade out of these projects. You can see the tokens that we've got listed on here. Sorry, I think my internet's really slow.
No, it doesn't matter, but I'm really happy that you guys are working this way. I'm not gonna lie, I've been rug pulled 3 times this year alone, but still made more money than that I was rug pulled. So eventually it was still profitable. But yeah, if you can, avoid them, why not? Of course, and it's funny that it calls also SafeSwap, because if you know this, it also gives you a safe feeling, which opens the door to more trust, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And so the idea is, obviously, this is in soft launch on our platform at the moment. The numbers that you're seeing here are obviously quite low. It's indicative of the fact that we've literally just launched this. We are populating it now. But anyone that's familiar with DeFi, again, can see that this is an amazing opportunity, because while the liquidity pools are so low, the percentage return from those liquidity pools provides a huge opportunity for anyone that wants to bring liquidity and farm liquidity. That means that your share of the pool is going to be significantly higher, and so your rewards are going to be significantly higher as well. So if anybody wants to look for a great kind of farming or yield farming opportunity, getting in on a DEX that is launching, I mean, that's a great place to be, because you effectively own a big share of that liquidity pool. But yes, you're right. So we want to create an environment for people to be able to swap and trade safely, and that way nobody's going to be able to hopefully rug pull, or definitely rug pull, but also you should be able to trust the tokens that you're investing in and that you're swapping in, that they are legitimate tokens, that they're not just sort of spoofed contracts or sort of scam coins.
This is indeed so true. This is so true, and that's this also comes like the quick trust IDO is not a confirmation of what you're saying. It's if I can talk about it. So
Yeah, for sure.
I know you guys are launching quick trust soon, very soon, 4 days if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, launches on Monday the 29th at 5 p.m. UTC.
Yeah, that's really soon. So to be eligible, people only need to stake or farm any amount, right, of YFDAI, and then they are eligible, right, to participate.
Yeah. So we have
what I found.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, sorry. So what I found pretty amazing about Quick Trust is, well, obviously the website looks good, but it's also the partners behind Quick Trust. So I don't see really small boys. I see big institutions or companies like IBM and Ideal London Founder Institute. So when I check this also gives me a feeling of trust. Okay, this is a legit, solid company or project.
Not only that, I mean, they've got a working product. They've got an amazing team. I mean, these guys have all got track records of delivering in either tech or fintech projects. It is a real pleasure to work with them. They've got a great advisory board. I mean, some of the testimonials as well. I mean, this is one in particular from IBM. Basically, the problems that they are solving are real problems. The problems that they're solving are real world problems that have a real demand. They have a growing list of clients. They've got a patent pending super NFT, which is an absolute game changer in terms of the uses of NFTs beyond simple kind of digital artwork and those sorts of things. In terms of provenance, in terms of interoperability, in terms of being able to move that and migrate that around, and chain of custody, everything else. I mean, the super NFT literally blows the doors open. And yeah, I mean, again, not financial advice, but we are incredibly bullish about Quick Trust and what they can achieve just alone in terms of their product and in terms of what they've got now. They've already succeeded. They're already successful.
I just got very bullish, so you succeeded in that. I have read about the Quick Trust, and yes, the fact that they have IBM behind them and they have this super NFT idea, it's just the perfect timing. Also, I think there's could really be something here. I really do think that this is a very interesting product.
And then we are talking about real life use cases, right? It's not just some arbitrary use cases.
It's not JPEGs.
We are talking about corporations that use this technology. So
check out the white paper, people. Check out the white paper, download it, and read it, and do your own diligence.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a great piece on here about the super NFT, which you can read. Their patent pending technology. Download the white paper, have a read. Regardless of whether or not you invest in the project or follow or support the project, it's going to be incredibly interesting. And I'm certain that you'll find the name, not just the name Quick Trust, but the technology behind Quick Trust popping up more and more in kind of interactions offline, online, in crypto and out. It's just incredibly interesting. So yeah, that's the Quick Trust team and the Quick Trust project, which we're incredibly excited about. But we've also got probably, I'd have to say off the top of my head, 6 other incredibly exciting Launchpad projects going through the diligence process right now that are coming to our platform. We're going to go through a governance vote on a range of these fairly soon to see whether or not the appetite of the community sort of matches my excitability around these projects. I mean, and they are diverse. There are some. Yeah, look, please come back and watch this space. As soon as I'm allowed to talk about it, I will. But we are very, very well regarded in terms of the effort that we put into our Launchpad. Aside from the incubator stage and aside from all of the due diligence and kind of the hard work that we put in to make sure that these guys are safe, transparent, trusted, audited, and everything else before we even present that to our community. It's not seen as a barrier for the projects that work with us. In fact, many of the projects that work with us come to us and say, we really like that, because what you're doing is effectively giving us a system of tools and processes and things to help us to be better at what we do, to be able to launch a fully formed or more fully formed project. And yeah, we're quite proud of that. So we've got some exciting stuff happening on the Launchpad front as well, outside of the new projects that we're bringing through. You'll see some new use cases in the YFI ecosystem, some new access potentially for investors to get in at earlier rounds for some of the projects that may not yet qualify for Launchpad. We get some brilliant applications, but these projects are far too early, or it would take too much of our resource to be able to take them through the incubator process to get them to where they're ready. We still think those projects have merit, and they're really, more and more of them are just incredibly interesting. And we'd like to give our community and investors and the wider crypto community access to some of these projects at a seed stage, so that they can make their own kind of assessments and judgments. They won't be fully vetted, they won't be Launchpad projects, but at the same time, there's merit in being able to share what these guys are doing and showcase that to people who have that higher risk profile that want to potentially, look at those things as well.
I think that, as we come to the end of this live stream, because we have to wrap up, there is a live stream after that, right after. I think that we need actually 2 to 3 hours to talk about YFDI, the projects that you are going to have, all the tools that people can use to generate income. Probably we need 2 to 3 hours, to be honest. And it's
come back anytime.
And it's always a pleasure talking to you, Davin.
Thank you. No, thanks, guys.
Guys, just don't forget, there is a giveaway. You can find the link, you can access it through the link in the description of the video. And this is the giveaway, the secret code to unlock it. We have 1 month free subscription in the exclusive Nest Club. Davin, at this point, I want to thank you for taking the time to be part of our 14-day Congress. And I'm pretty sure we will speak soon again.
No, much obliged. Thanks, guys. And please pass on my regards to Adrian. And
We'll
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, Dave.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you for all.
Bye-bye.